Hello there, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Today, we will be discussing Dirk Strider's character arc. Dirk Strider is not an easy character to crack, even when standing behind the safety of the fourth wall. He has all of the psychological trickiness of Rose, crossed with stoicism even stronger than that of Dave. Dirk Strider is not a sociopath or a narcissist, as many people in the fandom seem to believe. He is far too emotional to be a sociopath, and though he doesn't show emotions often, they are there. He just has no idea how to properly express them, even if he wanted to. As for him being a narcissist, I see him as a more likely candidate for imposter syndrome. This is a psychological phenomenon where a person believes themselves to be undeserving of good things and see themselves as a fraud, despite their accomplishments. These people are also likely to be geniuses, as we know Dirk is. He raised himself, quite literally. He had to teach himself everything he knows, and literally made a copy of his own consciousness at 13. That is genius, if ever I saw it. In spite of his incredible achievements, he hates himself. This is blatantly stated by himself on many occasions, including his confrontation with Hal, which we will return to later. Also, after Game Over, we see Dirk blaming himself for their failure, before committing existential suicide on that particular timeline. Dirk is known for his suicidal tendencies, and many instances of self-sacrifice, though he doesn't see himself as any kind of martyr. Hell, he's been decapitated voluntarily so many times that it's a running joke in the fandom. Even in canon, in the Snapchat updates, it's seen with the Dirk piñata. Dirk's love for Jake sticks out to me because it makes so much sense for him to fall for a Hope player. He needs a symbol of hope. His relationship with Jake the first time around was a wreck, sadly, because they were both terrible with communicating. Jake is too dense and Dirk is too vague, and this led to them falling apart inevitably due to the lack of understanding and communication. Dirk addresses this while talking to Dave, but yet again blames only himself and his own overwhelming clinginess. Thankfully, Jake and Dirk appear to be friends again on Earth-C, maybe even dating again, though this isn't confirmed. One thing to note is the difference between their picture together on Lotac and the picture of them together on Earth-C. The picture on Lotac shows Dirk hovering his hand over Jake's shoulder, as if afraid to touch him. Yet, in the snap picture, Jake has his hand comfortably resting on Dirk's shoulder in a casual manner. It's also shown that they spend a lot of time together. They are shown sparring and even rule the Consort Kingdom together with Tavros Sprite. This is a good development, to say the least, and I personally hope that they are dating again, or will. The relationship failed only because of things that could be fixed. The two of them just weren't in a good place for dating the first time around. Anyway, I'm not here to ramble about my own Dirk-Jake dreams, so back to psychoanalyzing Dirk. Dirk also has a deep and meaningful friendship with Roxy. He loves her dearly in a platonic sense, and the love is mutual, though seemingly less platonic from her end. They have a similar relationship to that of Rose and Dave, though without all of the heckling. They both live in the same post-apocalyptic world and are both orphans as well as mutual tech geniuses, so it makes sense that they relate to one another. Dirk's most turbulent relationship is with himself, as is seen with the tension between himself and Hal. I can't bring them up without mentioning the irony of Dirk creating an AI copy of himself to maintain his friendships so he can have more time to crunch numbers. It's an interesting reversal in roles between man and computer. Dirk takes out his self-loathing on Hal, and even outright says how much he hates having, quote, his own god-awful personality mirrored back at him all the time, end quote. At this point, we have him straightforwardly admitting to seeing himself as far worse than he really is. He was by no means perfect, but that is why he hates himself. He holds himself to ridiculous and unrealistic standards. He has a warped self-image. I personally hope for the best for Dirk. The poor guy deserves a break. If you enjoyed this analysis, be sure to subscribe so that you can see more from me later.